Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? My name's Tony G from GuitarWithTonyG.com, and today I'm with my really good friend Trevor Toms. We've played a lot of music together in the past. He's originally from Denver, but currently we're in Nashville right now, where he's doing a tour. And he's got some questions for me about some guitar, so today I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a lesson between Trevor and I.
All right, so my question for Tony G is, I've got a simple progression here that I'm working through G, and I'm trying to figure out some ways to bring in some fills or some riffs or some passing notes to give it some more color.
Why don't you go ahead and play that progression for us? Alright, so I can see that you're already using some of those nice little sus2 fills on that C chord. That's one of my favorite fills personally. I love that. I love doing that fill. So we've got a lot of G to C and back, and then we have G, A minor to C as well. So one of my favorite things to do when you're playing these basic open chords is to think about, number one, think about our key. The key of G is great because on the guitar, if we're playing the key of G, especially G major, then every single open string is actually in the key of G major. It's in our pentatonic scale, if you want to refer to our minor pentatonic scale. So every time that we're playing in the key of G with these open chords, we can use any open string to help accentuate the chord or to create a sort of melody if we want to. So a very easy thing to do is just to play our minor pentatonic scale in open position and use any of those notes to apply into a melody. So if we're playing from a G to a C, we can use any open string in any one of those pentatonic notes to add flavor. So we can do that either between. So for example, one of my favorite things to do between a G and a C is to play G to the open A and then play the B note and then hit the C chord. So you get same thing backwards. So we're playing the G, A, B, C, C, B, A, G, which everybody will recognize as that song, Stand By Me, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's a really fun way to just really add a moving melody between your G and your C chord. So you don't have to do it every time though, because that can get a little redundant. But now when you're playing that first progression to the C, you can just throw in a couple little subtle. That time just hit the B to the A. Yeah. So it's a very, very easy way for you to add in just subtle little passing tones between your chords.
And so that can be anywhere on this whole scale.
Correct. Because especially in the key of G, every single open string is a note, and then our minor pentatonic notes as well will work in very well. So you can think about many different songs in the key of G that use these exact same notes when we play. You can create a hook like that if you want to, or even on your C chord, you can add in some of these notes too to help spice up that chord as well. Those are individual chord flourishes, but at the same time, we can think about it in the key of G and use any of those pentatonic notes, which is really cool.
So, a question.
Yeah.
So if we've got a little, who is that? That's a way to get kind of between these two.
Yeah.
We can also do.
Yeah, of course, you can. Yeah, those any kind of chord flourishes you want to play on the C chord, and the C chord's cool because you can add many chord flourishes with just your pinky. So here we have just the same C triad, different voicing because it's just another fifth in the chord. If you add your pinky here to the second string, we get an add 9 because that's our D. If you throw it here on third string, we're going to get a dominant 7 sound. which maybe not appropriate for this song per se. Right. And then on the 4th string we get a sus4, which is that really nice sus4 sound that really begs to be resolved onto the C.
Which is also an F.
Well, it's an F if you drop your middle finger down.
If you drop your middle finger.
Yeah, but I love using the sus4, just like you use the sus2.
Yeah.
We can use it, I like to pull off, so I put my pinky down there. There you go. Just to add some more melody to it as well. So those chord flourishes can be used at any time with that C chord. Those are all very C chord specific.
Right.
But we can still keep in mind that we can add in any of those pentatonic notes at any time as well.
Now what about going, if we go into that, further into that progression and get that A minor?
So between the G and the A, are there any notes in the key of G between the G and the A? Are there any chords? Are there any notes?
G sharp.
G sharp. So G sharp is a note in between those two chords, but it's not part of our G major scale. So we could play it, but it's a very cool. It's kind of a unique sound, which adds a lot of really cool tension. I really love that sound, but it's a very specific style when you're playing, especially because you're not necessarily resolving to the A minor. You move on to the C. So if you're going to play the G to the G sharp inside that G, which is going to be our 3rd string, 1st fret, and then get to the A minor, I think that'd be really good if you were alluding to the A minor. However, the A minor is just the next chord in the progression. But between the A minor and the C, we come into the exact same thing as before. We have our A, and between the A and the C in the key of G, we have B. So we can use that as a passing tone very easily. You can use it both up and both down as well if you want to. So it's a really cool way to lead into it. We can also think about another really cool thing that I really enjoy. This is what's called a pedal tone. So a pedal tone is a note that we keep in all the chords as we play. So that's easy for G and C because G is G, B, D. C is C, E, G. So if we think, okay, if we just keep the G's in, that's awesome. But the A minor doesn't have a G in it. It just goes A, C natural, E. That's an A minor. But exactly, what if we throw down that G on the 1st string, 3rd fret, get that A minor 7. So now when we're playing, we can play. And you can even leave your pinky down there for the C chord because it doesn't matter. It's just another G. So again, it's going to be the same triad as a normal C chord, just a different voicing. But now we have that ever constant pedal tone, and if you accentuate it with your picking hand, you can really hear a cool melody like.
Seems to give it more weight, it gives that progression. Maybe it's not weight, maybe it's just tension.
It gives a different focal point, which is really cool. It definitely gives us something to focus on, and you should definitely use that when you're singing over it. You can either use that note to help accentuate with your vocal melody, or you can just keep that note in mind almost as like a harmony for your vocals as well. So that's a really cool way to take the same note and just put it over those 3 different chords.
Pedal tones,
exactly. They will change the characteristics of the chord. Over the G it doesn't because it's just normal G. Over the A minor, it obviously takes it from an A minor to an A minor 7 because we're throwing in the 7th of an A minor scale. And then over the C, again, it's just the 5th, but a different voicing than when we normally play it as just an open chord. So it really draws a lot of attention to itself when you play stuff like that.
So you could do, and you could even hammer on, pull off with that too, right?
Definitely. You have to be aware of what that does to the chord as well, because if we did it on the G and we pull it up, that's a G6. It's a
strange.
Yeah, it's a strange flavor of a chord for sure. But at the same time, now we're creating more of a pedal melody, if anything. Right. We're just keeping the same melody over different chords, which is cool because, yeah, maybe it doesn't sound the best to just play a straight G6, but if you continue that same melody over and over again, it can really get stuck in the head of the listener. So these are, about 3 really great ways to just connect your chords. You can think about your passing tones. You can think about our different chord flourishes as we play. So once you actually land on a chord, you can add in those different little hammer-ons, pull-offs, additions to the chords. And then you can also use pedal tones if you want to, and you can play the same note over different chords to see how that sounds. And these can all become quite redundant, but they also do have a lot of power to them. So I would definitely recommend using them at specific times in songs. You probably don't want to try to you don't want to overbear yourself on the whole entire song, especially if you're singing. You probably want the focal point to be on your vocals and your vocal melody. But if you have just some guitar parts where you're playing maybe some little interims or some just instrumental pieces, it's really cool to try to throw in.
And timing comes into play there too, right? With your passing notes, you don't want to be playing out of time, so you want.
Exactly. If you're trying to hit the chord on one, make sure that you are playing your passing tones leading up to that. So make sure that you give them some time before, maybe beat 3 or beat 4, depending on how many of them you want to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks.
Yeah, you got it.
That's great. Another great lesson with Tony G.
All right, guys, we're in Nashville, Tennessee. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go watch Trevor play a gig tonight in Clarksville.
Yeah, Clarksville.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. But if you guys have any questions, just make sure to shoot me an email, info@guitarwithtonyg.com. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And I look forward to another lesson with you guys. We'll see you soon.